Over the last decade, here is something that I have noticed happening more and more. Business owners, marketers, salespeople, self-employed people, they're all trying to find more motivation, the secret to flow, the next gear to grind through the work. But a lot of time they're simply trying to avoid doing the work that feels boring to them. So I'm going to give you 6 boring rules, not tactics, not hacks, not another shiny object to chase. But these are 6 rules that will make your marketing simple enough to actually stick. And they're going to be boring, but boring enough to work, because switching strategies can feel like progress. You're adding a new platform that feels like something that you're making progress on, a new funnel, new planner, a new content idea. But sometimes you're just digging up the seed before it's had time to grow. And there's nothing more frustrating than being almost there and then quitting the thing that was finally starting to work, but then you're realizing it a little too late. I have a short guide down below in the description to help you put this into practice. So check that link. Rule number 1, boring rule 1. Do not confuse boredom with boring. A lot of useful work gets abandoned because it stopped feeling new. Boring work can still be effective. It can be useful. It can be worth repeating. Sometimes boredom is just your brain reacting to a lack of novelty. It's not proof that work isn't working. Think of it like this, that boredom is internal, boring is external. Rule number 2, choose the boring move that actually matters, not 10 moves, 1. This is where most people are going to make it harder than it has to be. They don't pick one repeatable action tied to a real outcome. They pick a vague category. They pick something like, I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to do more marketing. In today's world, for some reason, we have grown accustomed to the idea that generic words feel like a plan. Something that was taught to me at a young age by a basketball player named Tracy Webster. He was a UW Badger basketball player, and he came to a basketball camp that I was at. This is 7th or 8th grade. 8th grade, I think. I twisted my ankle earlier in the camp. And because I was sitting on the sideline getting it iced and taped and rehabbed, for some reason, Tracy took an interest in me and spent a lot of time over there while I was rehabbing it, getting ready to go back and play. Later on in camp, during a scrimmage, I missed a really important free throw that I normally wouldn't miss, and he knew that. And after that game, he talked me through that. And he's like, what were you thinking during that free throw? Why do you think you missed? What's going on? I was like, I just need to focus more. I wasn't focused. I need to focus more. He's like, what does that mean to you, to focus more? I was like, I just need to focus. He's like, focus doesn't mean anything. Do you need to focus on your breathing? Do you need to focus on more leg drive? Do you need to focus on more ball rotation? Do you need to focus on more arc on the ball? There's like 100 things that you need to focus on. So what do you personally need to focus on? Focus is generic. And I think a lot of us put that idea into our business of just vague ideas. I need to focus. I need to work harder. I need to do this more consistent. It means nothing. You need to get specific. So pick one repeatable action, an action that is simple. Maybe it's email every week. Maybe it's one piece of content every weekday. Maybe it's 30 minutes of outreach every morning. Maybe it's reviewing your top hits before you shut your laptop down. Boring enough that you can keep doing it, but important enough that it points you at something real. Because if your boring move doesn't connect to anything meaningful, yeah, it's going to feel pointless. And that's when you're going to give up on it. This is when you're going to walk away from it. And this isn't about busy work. This is about repeatable work that brings results. Again, an implementation guide to help make this happen, look for the link below. Rule number 3, make it smaller than your ego wants. People with big goals start arguing with reality. Your ego loves a dramatic plan, color-coded. You have sprints. You have a content calendar with 42 ideas, deep work blocks from 5 until 9 every morning. But your actual life is messier than that. And reality is less interested in your grand announcements. So the move has to shrink. Do you want to post every day? Can you prove that you can post 3 times a week for a month first? Do you want to start writing a newsletter? Can you commit to one clean, useful email every Friday before you try to write a masterpiece every single day if you want to get organized? Can you end each day with a 10-minute reset before you redesign your whole system and your whole life and your whole workspace? Small is not weak. Small is what will survive contact with the real world. Rule number 4, anchor it. Stop relying on your mood. If you only do the important thing when you feel focused, inspired, or your back is against a wall, or it spiritually aligns with your calendar, that's not a habit. That's more performance than productivity. Anchoring it means you decide when it happens, where it happens, what triggers it to happen. Same day, every week, same slot every morning, same checklist before you start, same template, same opening move. You take the negotiation out of it. This is huge in marketing. People think consistency is a personality trait. I think of it more as operational. I'm not a consistent personality person, but I've developed it over time because I know how important it is. The people who stay visible aren't always more confident or even more consistent. They've just removed the friction. They make it easier. They know what kind of content they want to make. They know when they're going to make it. They know what done looks like. It reminds me of the famous Jerry West quote, the NBA logo guy. You can't get much done in life if you only work on the days when you feel good. Rule 5, collect internal proof before external results show up. We've all heard of lead and lag indicators. This is like that, but a bit different. This is where most people drop off because external results are going to lag behind behaviors. Sometimes so far behind, it's hard to even connect the dots. You do that boring move a few times and nothing obvious happens. No flood of leads. There's no audience spike. There's no sense that it's working. And so your brain, my brain at least, will start to heckle me. See, this was a bad idea. This isn't doing anything. Meanwhile, you're 8 reps into something that was always going to take you 50. So instead of only tracking outcome or even results, you want to track the activity, and the action is what is proof. And proof can be simple. It's the number of weeks that you stay consistent with it. It's the number of posts. It's the number of follow-ups that you sent. It's that execution gets cleaner. It gets easier. It gets faster. It's getting back on track when you miss something or something goes wrong. It's getting back on track faster when something's missed. The earliest signs that something is working are usually behavioral, and then they'll show up external. So you're showing up, maybe you can show up with less drama. You can start moving faster. You can finish more often. You can get things done. You can repeat things that are boring without an internal fight with yourself. That's proof. And then that proof builds trust, first with yourself and then with the market. Rule 6, let the boring thing compound before you upgrade it. This is the rule that nobody likes because this is the one that requires the most patience. And patience isn't having a great cultural moment right now. Once the move is working, your instinct is to tinker with it, to add complexity. Let's add 5 new things. Let's tweak the system. Let's blow up the whole routine because now it feels too simple. Now I've been consistent with it 3 times in a row. Don't do that. Let's milk the basic thing. Let it pay your rent for you. Let it become a part of how you operate. Let the audience hear your message enough times that they can start to recognize it before you might be bored with it, but they don't even recognize it yet. Let the workflow get easy enough that you can do it even when your week falls apart. Let the results start to stack. There's this saying that amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Then, once it's stable, then you can start to build on top of it. Not because you got restless, but because now you've earned it. And here's a simple way to picture the 6 rules. People want to harvest, but they keep digging up the seed to check to see if it's working. You plant a strategy, you water it for 6 days, you dig it up because there's no tomato yet. Then you plant something else, different platform, different niche, different planner, different promise. After a while, it feels like you've been working hard when nothing is showing up for it. But the problem isn't always the effort. Sometimes it's the interruption, it's the lack of patience. And so these 6 rules protect you from that. They help you stay with something long enough to get paid for it. So let's make this practical. Let's say that you're a coach and you're trying to get more clients. Your boring move could be to send something helpful, one helpful email every week tied to one clear problem that your audience has. It's small enough to sustain this action. Maybe you can do it every Tuesday morning. So then as you're going through this, you can keep a running list of ideas so you're not reinventing it every single week when you go to send it. Then you can start to track your sends, your replies, and your consistency before you start obsessing over your conversions. You run that for, let's say, 12 weeks before deciding if the strategy is broken or not. This is not flashy. Also, it's exactly the kind of thing that quietly builds authority with your market, trust, and inbound interest. And that's really the whole point, is that boring doesn't give you what you want in the moment, but it does pay you over time. So if you've been feeling stuck or scattered or tired of always trying to figure it out, maybe the next move isn't a breakthrough. Maybe it's picking one unglamorous thing that matters if you stay with it long enough, and it will become a part of how you operate. So again, make sure that you check out the guide below to help you do that.